but also being still. It's just a really interesting time and a hard time and very hard time. And then hopefully it's getting us to move forward, right?
That's the idea of it, I believe. Yeah. Waking people up, getting them out of their comfort zone, out of their, hey, this is not going to happen like this anymore. We're not in that old paradigm, right? So things are changing. Yeah.
It's so entrenched,
Yeah.
Let's hope it wakes us up. Yeah.
Yep. That's the idea. Yeah. Very good. Very good for you, Dia. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone have questions or something that they want to comment on before we start? And Jody's here. Go ahead, Margo.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, Lainey. Yes, go.
So I've been working on cataracts, which I thought were calcifications. And we just went to the eye doctor yesterday. And both of us, good and bad, both of us, our prescription dropped a bit. So whatever I was doing possibly did something good. But when I was talking to the doctor, who's a little bit open-minded, he said, oh, they're not calcifications. Cataracts are not calcifications. I've been working on the wrong thing. But our prescriptions got better. So I have to go back and do my research and understand what cataracts really are. He tried to explain it to me, but I need to go understand more. So I was hoping the cataracts, because the calcification was coming down in the eyes, would be better, but it was something else I was working on. So I guess that we need to understand what things really are. I mean, clearing stuff is good, but if you're really going for something, you should understand the mechanics of what's really there. And so good news, bad news, anyway.
Yeah. If it isn't calcification, what is it?
He was trying to explain it.
That's what I was taught.
Well, that's what I thought, but I mean, this is a real eye doctor, but he was talking about I don't even understand. I gotta go look at it, but like a discoloration rather than a calcification.
What was the word you said?
Discoloration, and then a kind of a blood flow thing. So I've got to go get smarter on this to figure out the cataracts. Because I was really but by muscle testing, I know that the calcification was coming down, but now I don't know what that is.
Oh, you know what it says here? Cataracts aren't made of calcium, but rather of clumps of protein.
Okay. So yeah, I'll go get smarter on that and figure it out.
Clumps of protein, I guess.
but isn't it the hardening of the protein that creates the film? So isn't the word for that when it's hardening, it's a calcification? Maybe it's a calcification of protein rather than calcium.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that term, the verb calcification. Yeah.
Yeah, the verb.
Like the hardening of the protein. Yeah.
And it's also dehydration. Cataracts are dehydration.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And it's also connected with sugar. I've known that for a long time because a lot of your people with blood sugar problems have them worse. So, but
that makes sense, yes.
We very much work on blood sugar in this family. So anyway, didn't want to go on about it. I just wanted to say I learned something and what I thought was true was not. And so got to figure out how to work on it.
Sorry, Lainey. It's just hard. Sorry.
Lainey, I think you're really smart. You said you have to get smarter on that. You're pretty smart.
Well, but we can never be smart on everything to 100%. So I need to.
Well, we're all learning, so that's a learning edge.
Yep.
Yeah. And keep us informed on how that goes because vision is.
New vision yet?
We haven't. No, we can add that one on. I've got a protocol for it. There is something for cataracts too.
Maybe we can do that next time.
Yeah, I would love to do that. We can do that one plus something else too if we want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The digestive.
Okay. Yeah. So we did have quite a few. Yeah. So we'll do that next time. Okay. So vision and digestive.
I had a question. I had two questions actually. One was working with someone's immune system. If it's like kind of they're experiencing kind of overall inflammation and there's not kind of a organ or gland to work to bring in the new master cell, when it's a system that's like not a body part, where do I go with that? Does that make sense what I'm saying, asking?
Yeah,
Like
so what's the issue? What was the problem that you start with?
the symptoms are negative physical kind of sensations of overwhelm. She has a lot of, and she connects it to an inflammatory response. So, so it becomes a, you know, a mental health issue, but her belief is that it's from this inflammation. And she gets sick easily and this kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, there's something. Hey, Margot, what would you say? Starts out with something. Would you say that there's emotional issues that started that inflammatory response? If she's feeling overwhelmed, but having the physical sensations. Okay, so there could be the cortisol, adrenaline going on with the overwhelm. I mean,
I could work on the adrenals.
maybe check that.
I would also start with that, just generalize, like start general and then see if you can work more specific, like
Right.
that, but the.
I've done some like things and we get to the throat or we get to the lungs, but I just didn't know, because when it becomes overall, there just kind of wasn't a place to put a master cell.
Yeah, or something more specific. I've had that sense even with I had that same experience with the musculoskeletal system. Like, yeah, generalized, almost like, you know how you can get that, not fibromyalgia, but muscle. It's just like some people get a generalized muscle pain. And is there a master cell in the, I had the same thought, is there a master cell in the muscles? Like,
Yes. And you just intend it. You don't have to say, oh, is there one, or, you know, because, and there can actually sometimes even be more than one, like the nervous system, there's like 20. And in
the central nervous system, because I was working with her with that, I just said the master cell needs to go exactly where it can give the best and most complete healing.
Yeah.
Because there's no like central nervous system. We can do the spine.
Right.
But there's no like one, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I'm understanding it.
Although they've identified that there's like 20 master cells, so where they are, or, you know, or what body parts they're in, I don't know. But but if we're intending that that's what we're doing, then that's what we're doing. So.
And I think generally, just like I tend to do that, work from general into more specific, like the nervous system, and then I might come in and say, oh, it's actually the synapses, like it's between the nerves, or it's the little dendrites at the end of the nerve. Like it's sort of start general, and then as I come in more, see, like, you know, ask it to show the more specific.
Okay.
Show itself. You know how we pop up that family bubble with the DNA? Ask it to pop up.
There's definitely been improvement for her. No question. But I'm just, still curious about how can I be more effective. And I also, do we have a blood? I know I did this before, and I had emailed. I have a very sick boy client, and have been working on him a lot. He has COVID-19. He's 17 years old, and but do we have a protocol on the blood, because the clotting? He has that Kawasaki syndrome, the multi-organ shutdown stuff. And is there a blood protocol?
I don't have anything really in particular about the blood. So I think we just have to go at it just like anything else.
It would be a pretty cool thing to create a protocol for, because
I think so.
It's kind of interesting that I haven't found anything besides, and so I just am going all the, I'm a social worker. I'm not a medical practitioner, but trying to kind of go through research and go through everything. So there's not because that, I wonder also, Lainey, for the diabetes, right? The sugar in the blood. Like, have you found anything also, Lainey, in that, like working with that? I mean, obviously this young man he's so sick, you know, but he's out of the hospital mostly because they said he really needs to get the hell out of the COVID ward. He was at Atlanta Children's Hospital. They're like, let's get you out of the ward because and his mom's a nurse, so she's caring for him. But have you found anything about blood, Lainey?
So I've been working on blood sugar since I took the first class. The one thing I noticed with it is there are just a ton, I mean, like a massive number of curses and
I cleared a
black magic.
lot. Yes, there was a lot. It was intense.
I mean, it's like the numbers have just been crazy, but I mean, that's the only thing is that it seems like there's a lot of that stuff to just get the basic clearing done so that the body can even start to have a chance.
And would blood be like bloodline? Like, wouldn't those two be related? Like, if
Yes.
going
They
down
seem
the
related, but they don't seem, as to my experience with my other COVID patients with the clotting issues, it's the bloodline clearing is not hitting it, like really not hitting it. That's why I was wondering about the actual blood.
Can I share something?
Yes.
In Ayurveda, they think of there's 7 layers of tissues, and the first one is plasma, and the second one's blood. But I was thinking about this with the immune system. They think of the immune system as starting in the bone marrow, and also the blood is produced in the bone marrow. So that might be, I mean, I don't know if you're already doing that, but that's a good place to start with.
You know, it's so interesting you say that. By the way, hi, I'm Dia.
Hi, I'm Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Tracy's with us. She's in level 2.
Nice
now.
to meet you.
Yes.
That's really interesting you say that, because last night when I was trying to continue to work on my city here in DC, I got that bone marrow hit. I'm like, what about the marrow? And I'm like, with the police? Like, what the heck? But it was about this guy, this lovely young man. So, okay. That's really interesting, Tracy.
Yeah, they talk about bone marrow and also the microbiome in the digestion, right? So like
he's got a lot of stomach
things
stuff
for immune system will build the immune system. Yeah.
And again, a lot of people who started with COVID, so I had quite a few people that has their early symptoms were digestive.
Yeah.
When they, look back and reflect, like, oh, before it was here, it was in the belly. Yeah. So I know that the belly and lung combo, or connection rather, I know very little about Ayurvedic.
Well, of course, maybe this isn't Ayurvedic, but there's disagreement of how much % of your immune system is in your gut.
Right.
I mean, I've heard 50, I've heard 80. I don't know what the real number is. The other thing, going back to Tracy, is that in Qigong, because my husband and I do a lot of Qigong, there's a lot in the bone marrow and healing and cleaning and packing the energy in the bone marrow and just getting that movement and flow through the body. So that's interesting.
In Ayurveda, they have like they call them tissues. So there's 7 tissues, and each one, like the health of each one, produces the quality of the subsequent tissue. So you go from plasma to blood to muscle to fat to bone marrow, and then they call it reproductive fluid. But that's just sort of a overall immunity actually in there.
Tracy, is there like a good book or reference you could just suggest that's basic for someone like me who's
I don't really know. I actually learned from an Indian doctor. He's since passed away. And actually things I learned from him were totally different from other things I'd read about and things that was very particular to his like family lineage.
Gotcha.
But this thing that I'm talking about is pretty basic. I would think it would be in any, just, yeah. And just from my own experiences, they're always talking about supporting the digestive health, but also working on getting the toxic residue out of the bone marrow. That's just Ayurveda term, right? So
very
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Versant Lad. So there's an International Institute of Ayurveda here in Albuquerque. Dr. Versant Lad is the doctor behind that. I know a lot of people have come here to study under him. He's got some books out.
Okay.
Ayurvedic books, but I haven't looked at them in like a couple of decades. So Tracy,
I'll just even go on their website and see what they say. Very cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he's well regarded for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got several books if you just look him up.
I will.
What's his name again?
Versant Lad, L-A-D.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
it's like the
great.
New Mexico Institute of Ayurveda or something like that in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I
So
think
you-
it's actually called the International Institute. I don't know how they get international, but it's in Albuquerque.
This is the Ayurvedic Institute.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to look and see because the books are right behind me on a bookshelf. But anyway, yeah.
Well, this is maybe why the turning of the patients to the on their bellies in the prone position, and they turn them have been turning them every 10, 15 hours, and then having some belly time because it's they're so sedentary. Obviously, especially this kid was in a medically induced coma. He's obviously out of that now, but the lack of movement. So I was trying to like energetically like get.
So I listened to a video from a doctor, and he talked about that, that why it was so important. He had COVID and just stayed at home, and he thought he was going to die, but his wife came in and said, you have to fight this. If you don't fight this, you will die. But if you fight this, then you've got a chance. So he, in that moment, decided that he would push through. And he talked about getting up and moving when he felt like he could hardly move a muscle, but he would make himself get up and take 2 or 3 steps, and then he would collapse down. He would shift positions from his back and to his stomach about every 2 hours. And the point of why I'm saying this is that he said, if you don't do that, the fluid settles in the lungs. So by changing your position, it allows that shifting of the fluid. And then the other piece to it, with this 2-hour movement, he would cough. And he said it was the most painful thing, most painful experience that he'd ever gone through. But he would cough he had a pattern of breathing in and holding and then coughing as hard as he could. Again, the whole notion is to get that fluid moving. I don't know, he didn't say if he was coughing up anything, but if you don't do that, then the lungs fill up, of course. And so that was the focus of his talk and his recommendations, that if you get it and you do this, it'll keep you out of the hospital and you won't have to go into respiratory failure. But it had all to do with the fluid in the lungs by his description.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I'm gonna remind his mom. It's easier to do at home now that he's out of the hospital, but he has had a twist in his colon, and his belly is in a huge amount of pain. But his fever, I mean, he had 104, 105 fevers for, like 5 days. So that finally broke, thank goodness. But anyway, but thank you. Yeah, I've been talking with the mom. Again, she's a nurse. But it's easier to do that at home because they're so overburdened in hospital. And you can't go in and be with your loved one and say, hey, let's do this. So yeah, I will. I'm going to actually text her now to remind her, because we have talked about that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so thanks for that. Let's see. There's something on the blood vessels and, the cardio part of it and the blood pressure, but that doesn't seem to be what the issue seems to be with COVID. So it's a little bit different. All right. So anything else? Anybody else have something they want to talk about or what they're working on? Anything that's coming up, case study, questions on that, or successes, other than what we've already talked about. Good for you, Lainey, for working in vision. If not, we'll just jump into what we've got here, and then maybe we can talk at the end if something else comes up. Okay, so let me share the screen. And that's it. Okay. Okay, so today, abuse and violence. So we want to clear the abuse and violence from our body and from the field. So one thing here is looking at where, where violence starts and where, how we become, I guess, a victim versus a victimizer. And so these things can and are how we put ourselves out there. So if we put out that we're a victim, we're going to attract a victimizer. It just happens that way because we're on the same resonance. And so how do we have this victim energy is what we want to clear. So there's a lot of different things that can go into that. So we'll go and look. Well, there's things in bloodline and so forth, but a lot with karma. I've noticed a lot of stuff from past lives, right? Timelines is in here. Of course, your own thoughts and perception and so forth. And then, yeah, obviously control energy. And there can be soul contracts, things in the past that we need to clear. So a lot of this seems to be a lot of past life things and a lot of, what we resonated with
Marlene,
for a long time. Yep.
when you speak about soul contracts, could you speak a little bit about soul contracts? Because my understanding is soul contracts is contracts made with darker energies or dark agendas.
Yeah.
And yeah, can you speak to those just a little bit more? Because I find I can sort of feel them or see what, like when they come up a lot with trauma, these soul contracts, and it's like people have made a contract with a dark energy, but it's
Yeah, they have. And that gave the darkness some type of control over your life or your health or something, something. Yeah. So, and they can go back a lot of different lifetimes, maybe like 100 different lifetimes. And they can be something that you do. You could do it as a group with other people or, individually. And it can be passed down from the family. That's the weird thing. So like if the family agreed to something or whatever. Yeah, so these can be in the millions for people. They can get real high. So if you're saying, oh no, 100,000, that doesn't seem right. Oh yeah, it could be. It really could. Just keep going. Knowing it can be up to a million, or millions. Because 100 lifetimes, that's a lot of lifetimes. And you can do it between lifetimes too. So wherever you happen to have been, floating around somewhere, you could have made some, agreements with some weird, wacky, something out there stuff that, and so that's the thing is, maybe we were thinking our life would be better if we could do this, or, it's not like necessarily that you sold your soul to the devil. It's not that. I mean, it can be, but it's not necessarily, doesn't have to be that. It can just really be anything that you agreed to. So that was.
So can you talk a little bit more about the between lifetimes? My head's just not quite wrapping around that.
Yeah. So you're just not in a new body yet. So
yes, I understand that. So who would you make a soul contract with at that point? Like just an example.
Well, that's interesting because it's not really going to be of the divine, like if we're processing what we've gone through and so forth. It's not really going to be in there so much as if it's, like ghosts. They're still stuck here. And
oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So they're not passed over yet, kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, good question, Margot, as far as going with soul contracts. And they can take a while to clear just because that's how many there could be. So if you're having a time clearing them, just know that that's typically, it has taken a longer time, as well as bloodline. Those can take the most time with people. Bloodline can go back maybe about, well, let's see here, 39 generations. So that can go back quite a while too. So like if you have just say Irish blood, or, you know, hot blood or something like that, you know, that would be, you know, something to check in the bloodline. Okay, so let's look here. All right, so a lot of past stuff. So really the first clearing you want to do is to have the ability and the right and the permission to be born to your mom and dad, to belong to the family, to take up space, to be welcomed with love, honored, respected, feeling worthy and nourished. Because a lot of this is not feeling like you deserve, you know, and if there was violence and abuse in a past life, you know, or many different past lives, it could be that you come in not feeling worthy. You came in feeling not loved, or, you know, maybe you're not, you're taking to take up space. Yeah. So again, this can be the lungs issue with being able to, you know, to breathe into life, or not having the ability to take up space. That can be certainly respiratory related. So this is going to be your first clearing that you're going to do for the.
I think often too, if the mother has trauma and abuse, violence issues, there's often attachment issues. If the baby doesn't attach properly with the mother. So it contributes to that not feeling belonging, because they don't get a healthy attachment because the mother is split or fragmented.
Yes. Yes, very good, Margot. And a little down here further, we're going to talk about having the right to be born to your mom and the right to be born to your dad. So you can ask that, did I have the right to be born to my mom? Yes or no. And did I have the right to be born to my dad? Yes or no. And then you can say, did I have the permission of my mom or the permission of my dad, and the ability, well, you're here really, so you did have the ability, but some people who miscarry or whatever, maybe they didn't have the ability or whatever to be born. So that could be a question you would ask there. But that is one of the things that we want to do, and then you can clear around that too. So so these are the things that are identified here, and these can even be from the other person, like malice, hatred, resentment, anger, unforgiveness, guilt. These emotions can be from the person who was perpetrating the violence. So you may have taken that on into your field as well. So, so they could have come from elsewhere, but now you're feeling guilty, or now you're mad, and you're, resentful and so forth because of the pattern. And then of course there's some dark stuff here to look at too. Blame, deception, disappointment. I guess these are all on the sorrow, bitterness. Yeah, just
You might want to add shame.
Add what? Shame. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very good. I think that should be there too. Yes, okay. And then denial from family. That would be just clearing denial. But yeah, so anyone who's in denial.
So also denial from self is a big part of it.
Yeah, from self. That's what I was
for 17 years, and a lot of, with my dad, and a lot of it is, yes, the family, but the denial from self, denial from society. Yeah, so it's very, very important too.
Yeah, very good. Yes, not just family. Yes, self-denial. That's what I was feeling at first, but then I'm family. Okay. And then society, very good. Your environment, friends who may not be your friends anymore. Maybe now they're siding with the ex or the whoever it happened to be or whatever. So I'm just going to
Or
put
they just can't tolerate it.
yeah, right. They're just not going to
They
be
just
around you.
disappear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So denial, yep. Check and clear that. And then there's shared energy. Shared energy with either the family, where if this was an abusive situation in the family, I guess is what we're talking about here, with the parents. So was there abuse with a mother or a father or somebody in the family? So that would be the shared energy of the family member, or whoever it was. That was the violent one. Or it could be, you know, if it's a spouse, then you'd want to do shared energy clearing of that, the spouse, but between you and them, right? So, and then is there contracts and agreements? And then I'm going to get into that a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit on karma here. So I'll talk about that.
How do you do shared energy?
That's going to be here. I'll explain it here when I get into the shared
okay.
energy part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a protocol to do that, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
As well as clearing karma.
Okay.
And contracts and agreements. I've got that here in just a little bit, because it just plays so much of a part in it that I'm going into that separately. And then there could be shared energy of a place. So maybe wherever this abuse took place, it was in your hometown, maybe, for instance. So then you want to clear shared energy with that town. Or the place that it occurred. Yeah, because when you think about it again, or, you know, like if you think about going back to your hometown or your home place, sometimes it's like not so good, you know. So that's what that is. You're gonna definitely want that energy out of your system. And then contracts and agreements around a place as well. There can definitely be that. Like people don't move away, you know, like whatever that happened to have been. And then spiritual timeline. So present life and future. So check future lives too. So how many, you know, going back to see how many times has this happened before in the past on my timeline. So you could say, well, you've got present, past, whatever. I don't know about. Well, I mean, they're all happening pretty much at the same time in future too. But if you want to say, you know, how many lifetimes ago have I, you know, have I experienced abuse or violence in previous lives? Yes. How many lifetimes ago would that have been? 1, 2, 3, whatever. And how old was I? Like we were doing with our timeline clearings. And then get that down and then clear those.
I have a question about the timelines. A couple of times the timelines have come up, like named spiritual timeline, emotional timeline, mental timeline. Are we to be checking like how the timeline's been impacted, whether it's spiritual, emotional, mental, or physical? Because I know sometimes you'd mention like if someone had a physicality issue, it showed up physically. Or so are we to be going down the timeline sort of 4 different ways, the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, or are there different timeline protocols for different issues?
It's really not a different protocol, but it is identifying it. It's actually 5 different ways because you got energetic in there too. But identifying it, is it emotion, timelines, emotional, physical, energetic, family, or mental. You can identify that and see it and clear it and make sure that it's cleared in that that realm. But also, and that's great, and that's just, you know, doing your basic
So check what realm.
swirl movement. But also it's it's checking to see what lifetime it was, from which incarnation and what age you were experiencing that trauma.
And by actually checking it and identifying it, like putting awareness on it, is that itself purposeful? Like, does that help clear it just by making it visible?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll take it out of the cellular memory. That just takes the impact off the trauma.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as I consider that number pops up at that age, it feels like a release of some sort.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like so when I did the a session with a healer friend here in town, and when we found that we went into how old were you with this temple thing. Whenever I would get a headache, it would just be right here. So when I found out, okay, yes, you were forced to be a nun, and when you didn't want to be a nun and you know were rebelling or whatever, you got whacked in the temple, and while you were in the temple, and so just that realization right there, it's just like whew, that's not coming up anymore. That that headache or whatever. Yeah. So it was coming up physically for me on this timeline in the temple. And okay, I guess emotionally it could be that I always cringed around Catholic. I mean, I'd been Catholic for many different lifetimes, but this lifetime I had a girlfriend that was not, well, she was Catholic growing up. She was my best friend. And I always just like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky I'm not Catholic, because she went to the Catholic school and she had the little dress, and she told me about getting whacked all the time with a ruler. Like, I don't get whacked. Oh my God, that must be horrible. And so it was like, but it was just that realization with having her as my friend that was kind of bringing stuff up for me. And I was always cringed around it whenever she talked about it. So emotionally, I guess that was coming up for me as a child, maybe to have this come out, but I just wasn't aware enough at that time to put two and two together until I can see it backwards now. So there's different ways it can, reveal itself. But actually looking and asking, is there something that I need to know about 3 lifetimes ago when I was 15? Or I guess mine was 4 lifetimes. Yes. Okay. So then see if you can get a hit with it. Just say, okay, show me what that was. What happened? And then sometimes you might just get a word, fire. Or you could hear something like, that's not fair, or whatever. You can hear different things. I'm like, okay, so what's this about, right? So then just go further and go further. And then ask the person if they're aware of anything that happened to them at age, if we're getting that it was age 16, ask them in this lifetime what happened to you at age 16, and see if there's some connections there. Because a lot of times there will be. That I noticed, and actually at 16, that's the time when I went rogue, I guess, if you will, rebelled against everything, and just nothing was, nothing. Just like this picture, did I show you the picture? This is me after I like, no, something's not right. I went from happy to no. I'm not feeling it anymore. So definitely these are, and did things like that I brought forward into this life. Yes, I was abused when I was young, between 18 and 20 something, early 20s. And did I bring this forward from past lives? Yes. I brought that victim mentality with me. And now looking at it, it wasn't just the abuse of the boyfriend at that time. It was also looking at different school issues when I was younger. How was I victimized in school? Like, if somebody was teasing you or tripped you or you know, and I didn't say anything back. Like I was just kind of like, I guess by not vocalizing or saying anything, it was almost like it was okay. Even though it wasn't, I didn't know. I was more of that person that wanted to avoid confrontation. So that was my way of avoiding things. And plus being very small, I would be the one that would get beat up if I did try to do anything back. So for me, it was like, I'm just gonna walk away, and, you know, like they taught girls to do, right? So,
but then again, it can move forward generationally, right? Like you had that experience, you brought it from past life. I really like this saying, the victims, you may attract a victimizer, and then you have this, and how do we, I mean, I know how to do future life stuff, and you did your past life clearing, but also for your children, your children's children, like,
yeah.
you know, clearing that forward. Is that in, do you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's DNA,
yes.
but it's also learned behavior, and how do we clear it for the future generations is also, even if you never have a child or you do have a biological child.
Or even clear it in the present. Like,
Right, both. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you want to go into the DNA, and if I didn't put it anywhere else, I'm going to put it right here. So, so how many patterns around abuse or violence are there in my DNA, or are there? You know, okay, how many? You know, wow, and I'm still getting, there's still one for me. Wow, okay, good. So let's, yeah, if you're finding that there's one, go ahead and clear DNA of that. Yeah.
And
And
also,
then,
I think there's also, like, even if you have adopted a child, I think there's, or I've had that experience, not for myself, but actually for my uncle who adopted his 2 children, and how it, you know, really continues, even there's not a biological connection. So that may be too off the subject, but I see that abuse victim pattern with them excessively.
yeah.
So just
Do you know that you can cord into another child, you know? Yeah, even if they're not your biological, you can cord into them, and have like that, that umbilical cord to that adopted child.
That's interesting.
Yes, and they can take your DNA, they can take your skills and gifts and so forth. It's almost like that's what happened to, well, it is, I guess, to our boy. I've known him since he just turned 4 when I met Bruce, and he's lived here pretty much with us for pretty much his whole life. He'd go to his mom's on some weekends and so forth, but I have evidence that he has some of my stuff, you know. It's like, how does this happen? But that's what happened. Somebody confirmed to me that, yes, it's like the umbilical cord went from her to me, you know, to him. So, yeah.
so it's like you spliced in.
Yeah, huh?
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, because of all the helping and doing and being for
Exactly.
it. Yeah, yeah, spliced in. I like that. Okay.
So would you clear your DNA in a non-biological child, or are you talking about the cord? I guess you could look at both.
If you're clearing your DNA, then that adopted child would get the benefit of the clearing then too. So you could actually say it then, if, you know, clearing my DNA and all the DNA before me, all the DNA after me, including my non-biological children, or however you want to say that. Yeah. But including them in would be absolutely wonderful. If you're just saying, and plus who came before, who's come after me.
And what about the cording? How would you do that?
How you would clear it?
I'm sorry, I'm just not clear on that.
Well, I don't know if
I don't think she wants to.
Yeah.
But if there's a negative cord, you would want to.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not saying personally to her, I'm saying for teaching purposes.
Yes, and you would want to clear cords for people who have, see, and that was one of the reasons that I believe we did this, is because his mom has all these attachments all the time, and it's just incredibly packed, like everyone you could pretty much have on the whole chart, and several of them all the time. It's not healthy over there. It's just, I can't hardly go there. She came here for graduation, and it caused a whole lot of things, a lot of work for me. I can't have her over here. It was just way too much work to have to clear a guest before they get here, clear them continually while they're here. She sent stuff into Bruce because she was mad, I guess. Revenge kind of stuff is what I've got, because here we're watching the graduation on television, and he lives here, and she felt like, you know, she gave birth to him and nothing, you know, and what does she get, right? Or whatever, you know. So she's sending stuff over to Bruce, and he got attacked. There was something here in the house, on the couch. She left all kinds of stuff on my couch. And I got attacked. I was up till like 1:30 in the morning, clearing stuff around here. It was just unreal, you know. So I don't think he needs to be corded into her at all anymore, right? So, because when he was, she would continually send cords into him, and then you could see his attitude was different. So changing that around so that he's no longer in that same umbilical whatever, he's a different kid now, and he's not picking up on the stuff like he was before either. She would just send it through and sending it to Bruce, and
So
then I guess to me.
Was there a specific protocol you used to clearing the cord? I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that I understand it.
Well, we can, I'm going to get to cords at the end here too. So
Okay,
that's
terrific. Thank you.
part of the karma thing and clearing cords. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's very good. So this is very powerful, impactful, absolutely has a lot to do with it. And then spiritual interference, like we were just saying, attachments and so forth, clearing that. And then there's emotions. Yeah, so what we haven't gotten up here with our clearing.
Marlene, are there specific spiritual entities that attach more so if there's a resonance of violence and abuse? Like, are there, like, out of the, you know, the grays, or are there specific spiritual entities that tend to anchor into that kind of?
Well, I guess that's what these are here, the transmortals.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because that's what I was getting, was transmortals, and then I would see them here on the chart. Yeah, transmortals, yes. There, the grays, not so much. Although, you know what it was? It was transmortals with her that I was clearing.
Okay.
Too, with her. Yeah. Although I'm not sure of her family history of abuse and violence, although I do know she plays the victim. So this has got to be for her too. So could I clear her and all this? Yes. Do I have the time? Oh my God. Oh no. Every time. I mean, yes, I'm probably going to need to do this whole thing, but she hasn't given me the permission, and I don't know. You'd be talking to a bunch of attachments, right? And they may just be saying, no, she doesn't get it. She's so low vibration as it is. And here's what else we found out throughout this whole thing, is that she's a carrier. For
It's too squished with him back here.
She's a carrier for this stuff. So she's like a harbinger, or whatever you call it, of she's so unaware that they even exist, or that what's going on, she doesn't get it, she doesn't know that they've taken advantage of her, and they are just having her as the supply ship, I guess, if you will. And that's what she's doing. And she's, anywhere she goes, then any opportunity that they get to latch on to free energy or food, you know, off of sucking it off for other people. That's what they're doing. So just if you run into that, you'll know that that's what we found out is people are carriers for.
Marlene, it's Jody.
Yeah, hi, Jody.
Hi. I've been talking with Marlene about this carrier thing. What happened to Bruce?
Yeah.
How do we know when people are carriers? Are they just covered in entities?
Totally. Yeah, and then just ask, is this person potentially just a carrier in their, they're being used. So yeah, for sure, this person is totally being victimized too, even though they don't realize it. They have that energy, that victim or violence and abuse resonance, yeah.
And if you clear that, let's say they don't know and they're a carrier and you clear them, won't they just all come back again, or?
Well, yeah, see, that's the thing is getting permission, because did she agree to something? It seems like, you know, there was an agreement here, right? So am I getting involved with somebody's agreement, and am I taking on stuff from them? And so it's a real fine line as far as getting permission. So getting permission from her high self, I get permission. Interesting for her.
I think there could be permission if it's impacting you, like if it's a clean intention, right? It's just not to harm. I think,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm not doing it for, you know.
The intention is for love, for, you know, to you to clear your space or your.
Yeah, exactly. And good for saying that, Margot, because that does bring up a point. Yes. If it is affecting somebody negatively, then you do have the right to step in and get this resolved. Yes. Yeah, but she does have agreement. She has some contracts or something with this stuff. So what did she get out of it? I don't know, but she's gotten something. Maybe power and control. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what she wants to go after, but they're getting something. She's getting something out of it. What, I can't tell you because I haven't seen any benefits, but whatever. And I have emotions down here, but I guess we've got them up here too. So guilt, shame, fear. We didn't put fear up here, so I'll put fear up here. And then there's distress. We have sorrow. Okay.
Well, I got, just on that fear note, I just wanted to add on that whole COVID patient with your data, I thought there's a real fear that needs to be cleared.
With mine, did you say? With that Joe, the young man?
Yeah, fear.
Well, it was really interesting because his the way they think they got COVID was his dad's in the military, and he was part of making sure people on cruise ships stayed on cruise ships. And he's a very tall kid, but very slight, and has had a history of stomach stuff. So fear is and anxiety.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus
now,
fear.
Of course, now the collective consciousness in his family and his friends they're terrified he's going to die.
Plus in the hospital, what is there but fear, right? So
I think the hospital is actually more, in some ways, actually, because his mom is a nurse, he feels a little more held, a little more confident. And I think there was some distress around going home. I mean, and I can as a child, I had a lot of surgeries, and let me tell you, being in the hospital was the happy place for me.
Oh.
It was safe. People took care of me. They kept my abusive father away. It was like,
Okay.
like the Ritz. So you never know how, people attend to you. And I know it's now different with COVID, obviously, but there are kind of some different experiences that the hospital can help rather than to hurt. So,
okay. Yes, I get that.
different point of view there.
Yes. If it was a loving home, and I just want to go home, and this place is scary, then there's fear. But if it's like, I don't want to go home, I like this place, I'm gonna stay here because of things that are happening at home, yeah, then there's absolutely could be either way. Yeah.
I've found there's a lot of dark energy in hospitals. I've been in hospitals so much. And so I'm not going against the psychological benefits, but I think there's like things that can attach, right? And then people are
Sure.
having
Oh,
surgery,
yes.
conscious, and it's just like it's like a free-for-all in there.
It is.
Well, there's so much vulnerability, right? So people are so open, right? And they don't know how to protect. But I'm just saying sometimes that there's this like, oh, people can help me here, they can't help me at home.
Oh yeah, I can definitely understand that at that level, sure.
Yeah.
But Tracy, yes, you're correct in that, because people that, and I will ask certain people, I go, have you been at a hospital, clinic, doctor's office? I used to ask them that more before the COVID thing. And if they said yes, then it would give me a clue. Okay, so I have this long list of attachments here. So were you just, yeah, I was just there yesterday. Oh, okay, that makes sense then. Or dentist office. There was, I don't go there anymore, but I went there. It was just a real bad experience. It was the receptionist. She was so low vibe, and she had all this stuff on her, and I just couldn't be in that office. And I was saying to the dentist, I said, look, I can't come back here, because he's like, well, he's helping me, and I came back, and they said they'll redo something they did, and I'm like, they want me to have them be my dentist. I said, I cannot come back here. I don't know who my dentist is going to be. I have, now I don't have a dentist anymore because I can't come back here. And I told him straight out what it was. I said, there are some really bad vibes going with, and I believe it's coming from your receptionist. I said, you might want to check this out. I know that these things can be cleared, but as of right now, I feel horrible in this office. And he didn't know what to say. He didn't, and this was a while back, so it's not, now I would have approached it a lot differently. But I just kind of left him hanging like, oh, jeez, I don't know what to do. Basically, I just said it. No, if she's here, I'm not. I can't come back here. So anyway, yeah, the dentist office, any kind of place where you're in fear, right? A lot of drilling going on, a lot of fear going on. They've got the, okay, or just swoop right in here with this patient, So always when there's a lot of that, you can ask, hey, but just know, different emotions have different vibrations. So how does this person normally act? Now, shame, we put shame on here. That's very low vibe. It's like around 20. And guilt, that's around 30. Grief, I don't know if we have grief. I don't know if grief. Fear is 100, so that's really low too. Anger, anger is 150. Fear is 100. Shame is 20. And guilt is 30. Yeah, so all of these are so very low vibe that they are actually calling in the stuff that resonates under that. Okay, so if you have emotions that are under 280, now none of these are even up to 200, right? Then you have definitely can be inviting in the spiritual parasites and anchors. But now if you're between, like, say 280 and 500, then you can have anchors. So the potential for these things to come in, but they're not necessarily attaching, but you could get the anchors and have them stay there until you really get low one time and just blam, whatever.
Marlene, can you say those numbers again? So if you've got, what was it, 100, below 100?
No, if emotions under 280,
okay,
then you can be calling in the spiritual parasites and anchors.
So that's both entities and anchors. And then the other number was?
It was between 280 and 500.
It's just anchors.
Then you can be calling in the anchors. Yep, and so emotions over 500, then that's, those are just positive anchors, I guess, if you will.
It's like a psychic protection.
Yeah, yeah. So love is 500. So that's where they say love or above. That's that 500, right? So it's really love, joy, happiness, seeing that, you know, everything is okay, you know, instead of going into the, oh my gosh, isn't that awful? They lit this thing on fire. Or, you know, whereas D is like, well, just, you know, it was just a little fire here, Lord, whatever. So it's not like, oh my God, there's that, you know, that would just be really out of, you know, emotionally low, right? So.
Did you say grief? Did you give a number for grief?
Grief is 75.
Okay. I don't think that's on the list though.
I don't think it is either.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But yeah, so just knowing that our feelings, how are we emoting out there is what's going to be drawing this stuff to us. So the longer we stay in these types of emotions because of the violence, the abuse and so forth, then the more we're going to be calling this bad stuff, you know, dark energies in, and maybe continue to stay a victim. Because when we're being attacked by attachments, we're being attacked, right? Again, maybe not physically by a family member, but we're being attacked. So, so now if there was physical abuse to a female body, and you know, if there was sexual abuse, you'd want to do an energetic female flush. This is a clearing around that. So this is to be able to live relaxed and happy in a body, and feel attractive to love, kindness, supportive actions of others, letting go of the core impact of violence from your body and aura. Now this doesn't have to be just female really either. If you know, a male, it doesn't matter. I don't even know if we need that word in there. It can be, you know, if you need it to be that way, then you can add in some other words too, if you'd like. But
can you just put slash male, female slash male?
I think we should.
Yeah.
Because we could do it, you know, we can do it gender wise too, but this doesn't have to be gender. This can just be anybody who's been, let's say, beat up, right? So it could be, or pushed around or abused, or somehow they don't feel safe. Feel relaxed, happy, I would say, and safe. Gotta feel like
So it's
oops, okay. Go ahead, Janet. I think you went muted. I think you have to unmute, Janet, if you had a question.
it's both physical and emotional.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Safety, feel, yeah, safe physically, safe emotionally. Mm-hmm. So all bloodline again, soul contracts, there's curses here, trauma, probably always going to be trauma, like past lives.
Question, Marlene?
Yeah.
So this is interesting for me. So, okay, so this is about my daughter who's 17. She's never been abused in this lifetime, has always had, but my mother was horribly, and I've never been abused in this lifetime. And she has this fear of being attacked. Now, so could you do this even,
yeah.
and she's never been attacked, right? So can
right.
you?
Maybe it's bloodline for her. So yeah.
So
maybe
someone, I mean, yeah, and just kind of taking it to the broader thing. So someone who's had that has a fear, but it's not, it might be helpful. I was just thinking the example of her. It's helpful for me, but also helpful for others, that anxiety about, am I safe? Am I not safe?
Yeah.
And I think my son has the same thing. He has so I think the male and female is important to put both, but even though they haven't had that in this lifetime, they have a fear of it. And I think it's, you know, bloodline and all that stuff.
And what about timelines? Maybe something's happened in another lifetime.
Right.
And this needs to, it's coming up right now, that fear is coming up so that she can release that, you know, let that go finally.
But it also just might be helpful to clear it, you know, for our clients or family members. So it's, you know, that even if they haven't had the event, if they have that anxiety, I guess is what I'm talking about. So in the right permission, that they may not have had like a concrete experience in this lifetime, but if they have that fear, then it's good to, you know, and a lot of, you know, what is it? 1 in 3 women before 18 are assaulted and 1 in 4 males. So carrying that trauma.
But really, what is abuse? What is abuse and what's violence? Where, you know, what's the fine line that just, you know, like for here, kindness. Maybe the child was in school, nobody, you know, nobody was nice to them. Maybe they weren't supported. The actions of others, maybe they were bullied, or, you know, something that they weren't maybe pushed and shoved physically or abused that way or yelled at, but maybe they just weren't given, you know, so they don't feel safe or they don't feel relaxed and they're not happy, right? So
the phrase cared for comes into my mind just because as sort of was a theme in my childhood too, just that feeling of, it wasn't sort of lack of safety in terms of physical harm, but that cared for, like your particular needs are of a concern. And
not feeling,
very good, Tracy. I like that too, cared for.
That can happen so easily with all these different things that maybe we don't even know about our kids, what they're experiencing in their life. You know, it could have been a small event, but it triggered that feeling.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yep.
Yep. So it doesn't have to be just, you know, physical abuse and violence, but so these things then, again, there's a lot of past life stuff. Now, there can be some group mind, black magic, you know, thinking negatively of yourself. And I can see after time, maybe you're going to start to take this as a guilt, like maybe there's something I'm doing. Maybe I could be, you know, more popular, or maybe, you know, what's wrong with me kind of stuff. When really there's nothing wrong with them. And then maybe just bringing it up from another time, right? So, and then resentment, anger, unforgiveness, greed, disappointment, bitterness. Sure how greed. That's funny. So, so I'm wondering now too, so this can be not only for the victim, but also for the victimizer, right? So we're going to be doing it both ways. So maybe there's some type of greed, like maybe they're getting some type of benefit out of this. Well, obviously they're getting their way, I suppose, you know. So maybe that's where that comes in. And there may be other emotions then that we would put on there for the victimizer, although that malice and so forth that we had up here, hatred, resentment, these seem to be emotions that the victimizer could also be having, sure.
The victim also can take on the energy or resonance of the perpetrator's greed and then feel very confused. Like they have these sense of they're greedy, or, you know, they feel these weird feelings that they're greedy, or, and yet they know somehow it's not theirs, but they can take on the perpetrator's resonance.
Yeah,
like where they feel it's their fault, and so they can take that projection, right? Or go
Yeah, I think that, or I think even just like they start to almost feel like that person, like that. It's in their realm so deeply, like their essence, that they start to think, well, am I greedy, or am I that person's negativity, or that is almost dumped on them so profoundly they start to feel like that person.
Yeah. I feel that.
It just causes a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion.
Now for this one, mental body clearing, so aura. Okay, so mental body, so aura clearing here. We want to make sure that their aura, because their aura is probably dark. And maybe they're not here. It's physical. Maybe they're not living in their body. Their spirit's not in the body. So that's what this is here, restoring your relationship to spirit in the body area, whatever that happens to be, in the body or body parts, I guess, if you will, like if it was sexual, I suppose. But yeah, so physically, they may not feel like being in their body, so they may just be up in their head. So that's where that mental energy can all still be up here, so you can see clearing all that mental energy, getting that all kind of cleared up, and then allowing then the spirit to come back into the body after you've done the clearings, so that it should feel happier in there for them to want to actually be in there now again.
Can you speak
So
about
that could,
body parts? Like, would you just ask it to be shown which body parts?
yeah. So like for this, if it was a sexual nature, then you're going to look at the female areas, and then you can actually do a regeneration of, say, like female body parts, right? So or male, whichever, whoever your client is. But that you could do, so that you're going to bring in, beautiful healing energy into the area and letting go of all the darkness in that area.
What if those parts have been surgically removed?
The energetic version is still there, so
Just cleaning that,
yeah, just intending that you're taking out the darkness from that space. Yep, and then doing that little mini-me, getting their spirit all the way down into their toes and so forth, and that. But now they may not be able to do that yet, so that's what this body ownership here is for. So, if they're really not ready, maybe ask, do I need to do the body ownership clearings before I bring the spirit all the way into the body? And that may be yes. So you may be wanting to do body ownership clearings first. So, okay. So here, then, you're going to want to look at, well, how is it that this person is allowing this? What is the acceptance or the receiving of all this stuff? They may not be in their body. Their spirit may just be all up here all the time now because they just don't feel good in their body. So they're not owning it, so other stuff can be in there, owning their bodies, dark energies and so forth. So you want to start with clearing the DNA programs around these emotions. And we could probably bring in, other emotions too, like we had for anger, resentment. Whatever you feel is, we can just say plus whatever.
And when you say clear DNA programs for, do I go back in my book to the kind of do the whole protocol, or is it just seeing the boxes and clearing with the golden light?
Yeah, you can see it as a black spot.
Okay, so I don't have to go to the whole long protocol here for DNA.
Not necessarily, no. So you're just going to say, is there a DNA program for hatred? Okay. How many programs are there? Yeah, is there a faulty DNA program for, okay, how many? And then, so if there's one, then you're going to see, you're looking at the DNA You just can see it as a black spot. Is it, oh, there's one black spot. Oh no, there's two black spots for hatred. Okay, so then that's where you're gonna either just blast it off.
Right. Okay, thanks.
You know,
Great.
fire hose, whatever.
Yep.
And then you can check for family bubbles. So if there's a black spot then in the family bubble, so call it there. Okay, so, and if any other emotions come up, you know, for you off that other list, just say, is there something else on that sheet of 8 columns or whatever that needs to be cleared here? And if you get a yes, say column 1, no, column 2, yes, whatever, you can do that too. Getting a little further into it, but these are the general ones that have come up for this body ownership area. So, so that should be the main ones. So then the clearing then would be around dark energies, blocks for you living in your body and your field of embodiment. So that might be backwards, I think, restoring for you to live in your body. Okay, so so again, bloodlines in here again, some curses, some more curses, and then there's stuff in perception, things around cycles, patterns, keeps coming back around, agreements, things we agreed to for some reason or other, karma, again, there's this past coming here, but I don't see timelines here, because I'm just wondering, to not live in your body, I didn't add timelines. I'm going to add timelines here because so many times if you've been murdered, killed, or whatever in a different life, then maybe you don't want to be in your body. It hurts or it's painful, or you know, something, I got burned at the stake or whatever it was, right? So I'm going to put that on there. Shared energy, cords, DNA, and of others, and the reset. Then here's emotions for those, and then the dark energies that could be responsible for not allowing that or blocking it. So clearing all those. And then another clearing here would be, we just did that one. That's a repeat. Field of embodiment. Okay, this is a repeat. All right. All right, so one less, yay. Okay, so clearing family thought forms. So these.
Where's the repeat? Just so I can correct.
Oh, it's this one. I had this one twice.
Through to
dark energy blocks for you to live in your body and field of embodiment issues.
Okay.
Will you send this updated sheet?
Yeah, I figured it was going to be.
Because the one we have is different than the one you're showing us as well.
Yes, exactly. And I did do a little bit of editing on it after I sent it off last night, so that's probably why.
And if you could number your pages would be great, because I print them all out.
Oh, okay.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Because I double side print them and then I get a little confused sometimes.
Yeah.
Labeled.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we did that, and then this is well, group mind virus. So family thought forms is what we're looking for here. So is there family curses? So just say, are there, how many? And then you can see these like as black dots too, and blast them off. Are there evil spirit curses? Is there trauma from this life informing you not to live in your body? From this life, okay, so. Yeah, Yeah, because it's this family is what it is. Yeah, we're talking about here. Now, it could be your family of origin, but I am also going to put on here, do this again for, let's just say, spouse's family, if this is a spouse issue, spousal abuse type issue, for, you know, spousal abuse.
And step parents, stepchildren.
Yes, yeah, very good.
Blended families. Adopted families.
Yeah, and parents, stepchildren and parents. Yeah, very good. So, yeah. Okay, and cycles and emotional thought forms. Yep. So check that and do those clearings. And then you're going to do clearings in the bloodline and DNA around around issues preventing full body ownership and using the basic swirl to remove. Okay, so, or you could remove the problematic genes, DNA as black spots. You could do that too. So the golden vacuum, you could use that as vacuuming up black spots. Okay. So then examples of DNA programs preventing full body ownership. So they could be, you don't have a right to be here. So that could happen because of an unwanted pregnancy or maybe financial difficulties to support and feed you. So was that an issue? Is there a DNA program around that? Yes. Okay, then how many? Or you are a burden, or you're the black sheep of the family. You're better off never born. You were born to take care of your mother, sister, family member, whatever. Family. Jody, that might be one you want to clear for on your family, huh? Somebody in her family thinks that she should be caring for them, and it's not even, you know, your mother or sister. Okay, so dreams or lifestyle that are not valid. Your dreams or lifestyle are not valid with the family. So maybe the way you're living, you know, you're wild, too wild, or whatever it is. You don't count. You're just a woman, child, or illegitimate, or something like that.
Or this is a very common in the LGBTQ. So just to throw that out there.
Yes. LBG.
BTQ. A rejection of lifestyle choices and.
Yes. Very good. Yep. Or you're just like your father. He's no good. You're just like him, or something like that.
What I grew up hearing, I had a stepmother. So it was said often that I wasn't blood.
Oh, interesting. Okay. You're not blood related to this family. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Adopted people can certainly feel that way. Yeah. Or you, or, well, these are the things that, you know, we've heard or we've felt or we've taken on. Yep. So anything else that you know comes up, pops up for that person, maybe there's something individual or, you know, about their specific situation. So that could come up. Other things. Okay, so then going into another clearing around body ownership. This is to fully own and live in your body, and to be free to fully express, so without fear, removing domination, suppression, control in all areas of the blueprint. Okay. Bloodlines, some curses, group mind virus, curses. Here timelines does come up. So other lives where we were not free to fully express, and that could have been a lot of them. Archons. How that came up here, I'm not sure. Probably down here, I guess those are okay. Okay. All right, so then these are the dark energies here.
Can you switch us back to the document?
Excuse me?
Oh, never mind, I got it.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then, so that's to fully own and be able to fully live in the body, free to fully express. And now some of these, once you've cleared them for other things, they may not take as long, or maybe you're not getting them anymore because you already cleared it up here for something else. So that can certainly be, but if you're starting on this one, you're gonna probably find them all there. So this one's to exist as a spirit in body, to fully occupy and inhabit the body 100%, removing domination, suppression, and control in all areas of the blueprint. So similar, but not exact. This is to inhabit, to fully own and live.
I think this is bringing the spirit now in after
To
you.
exist. Yeah, this one's actually to exist as a spirit, to fully occupy and inhabit. A little bit similar, but I guess we don't have control energy up here. Well, we do, yeah. So what would be different here? Agreements. A little bit different, but transmortals, they're still here. Synthetics, I guess this is different, but
Is it about more fully occupying, like keeping the spirit in the body rather than the tendency of it leaving?
okay, yeah. Because this one is you own and live in the body, but this one is to exist as a spirit in your body. So yeah, to keeping the spirit, I would say, in the body, to be fully occupied there and to stay, inhabiting it.
Yeah.
100%.
Can you just put that in brackets after that, Marlene?
Put brackets after.
To exist and stay as spirit in the body.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. All right, so there's a little bit of difference here in the clearings. And so this one is the right permission and ability to be heard, to be seen, felt. Okay, and then these are the areas here. Real similar, just a couple of extra things here. Resentment, let's put the emotions up here. Okay. And then another clearing, this is to be loved, honored, and cherished in the body. So loved, honored, and cherished in the body. Okay. So similar stuff. Let's get the emotions up here. I think I like them better up here. Okay, so let's now start in with, now love and relationships are going to be just kind of flow straight into what we just did here. Similarly, because if they did have abuse and violence issues, they're probably going to have issues with love and relationships as well. So it just kind of seems like this is going to flow straight into the next clearings that they should be doing for the same people. Now, you could look at clearing. I'm going to do a save here while we're, okay, so physically, these areas of the body can be compromised if there's issues from abuse, violence, or, you know, some type of relationship problems on that it could be in the family, or it could be that you had, you know, bad, you know, just one relationship after the other, or they all went south, whatever. Over time, the heart is now going to be affected. So you've got the consciousness, now you know, the stuff has been in your field for a long time. Eventually, you know, my mom died of pancreatic cancer. Now, she was adopted and she didn't feel loved. You know, she had, you know, she was given away, and then not only to one family, she was not adopted by a couple other families until she, like the third family, I guess, is the one that adopted her. So yeah, so she had been passed to different families, and so I can understand, you know, her feelings. But by age 91, she passed from pancreatic cancer, and she didn't know about it at age 90. So it took a long time to get there for her, you know, thank goodness. But yet that's where it landed, you know. So for people, you can check their pancreas, you can check their heart, emotional, brain. I'm going to put ovaries in here as well.
Not stomach too? It's not, did you not getting that?
Yeah.
I'm getting stomach stuff. But
Stomach.
Also, the fight or flight, like the HPA axis and the adrenals. Trauma.
You could, yeah. Let's just say, okay.
That
So
out of body, yeah, the out of body is the fragmenting, and then the cortisol spin, and
yeah, all of these can go in there for sure. Yeah. And then the emotional brain, that's like the amygdala. Yeah. Okay, so so these are the areas to clear for this. Seeds. Okay, so it looks like we have holographic inserts, seeds, mechanisms, implants, invasive nanotechnology, and portals. Okay. Invasive nano, I've never heard of that. Okay, I don't know why I did that there. Okay, and then there's a lot of cords, contracts, agreements, karma, which we're going to get into here at the bottom. Aliens, all these different aliens, evil spirits, entities, demons, transmortals, ghosts, and guides. So clearing all this stuff to being able to fully well, this would be before you would do regeneration. So these would be the areas to clear before you would do a regeneration, or if you don't have time or the budget or whatever to do the regeneration, at least do this clearing around the blocks for it, right? But then it would be recommended that you do the regeneration of each of these. And then we had stomach.
so if you're working with a client with, say, what comes up as heart and pancreas and adrenals, and you're working on regeneration, that would, I was just kind of wondering about like their overload. You would do once a week or once, like how
Oh yeah, ask their body where to start with this. Should we start with the emotions first? Should we start with the mental? Physical, probably not so much. So the physical would probably be after you have completed the clearings, and then just say, okay, are they up to doing it now? No. Wait, how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait a week. And then can I do all heart, pancreas, blah, blah, blah? No. What can I do? You know, and then just get answers from their own particular body. Yeah, because it might be too much all at once.
Yeah, because that would be a lot, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, especially if they've been abused, and you know, it could be real touchy and stuff. Yeah.
So working with the client, you would kind of say, this is where we're going to start, kind of that intake that I think Margot was talking about a couple of weeks ago. This is what I see, this is where we're going to start, and then we're going to do this week, and then this different time, right?
Yeah.
Just trying to think about how to kind of create that for somebody.
Yeah.
So they're not overwhelmed with it.
Read body, where to start. Yeah, absolutely.
Just seems like it's a long process, yeah?
Yeah,
From your
and
experience,
they may not even, ask, just ask. They may not even require some of this. It may not apply, And so some of these, like, okay, maybe they don't have cycles, maybe they don't have satanic, it's just the ones that would apply to them, so they could, and then they can start going faster as you've already cleared a lot of other stuff too. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, as long as we're making it look here.
So Marlene, when
yeah.
we did the regeneration, it wasn't just ovaries. You had like all the female parts. So it seemed like that would apply here as well. Or would it really just be
well, ovaries, really, because the emotions can get stuck in ovaries, and that's why it's here. The other was because of the female flush. So we want to make sure that we completely clear out if there was a sexual abuse there.
What about the testes too for men? So, I mean, men get abused.
Could be,
Men.
sure. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying men get abused, so.
Yeah. No, that's good. Very good. I'm gonna put ovaries.
I was at a dinner party once, and men were it was like 18 people. I think in the end, like 6 out of the 8 men had all had an abuse experience. It was pretty dramatic. And had
with
never talked
a
about
family member, or, I mean, because I know guys beat each other up. Are you talking outside
no,
of
abuse.
that?
I'm talking about abuse.
Okay.
From someone they knew, someone they didn't know, an experience that was assaultive and sexual in nature. So I just am I have a lot of men in my practice, and I just think that often we're still not talking about that.
Yeah, good, Dia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and thank you, because it does need to be added here, because I have male clients too. Yeah, so not just the ovaries. Yeah, very good. Okay, so now let's go into clearing karma. First, definitely if they've been abused, you're going to want to do this. So clearing control energy, letting go of cords, canceling contracts, deleting agreements, and completing shared energy with somebody. So so this could be questions. Do you continue to think about or still feel the emotions from a past relationship, or a friend who turned on you, a lover who betrayed you, a family member you didn't get along with, job or a boss that made your life miserable, or a place you lived that was bad luck, or just doesn't feel good to you? Or have you ever wondered why you keep coming across similar issues in your relationships? Could be, people you date, the people you attract to be dates, love life, work life, family life, or your social life. And then, did you know that you could be holding energies in your body and field, that those around you, or even from those that you have had relationships with in the past? So Margot, like what you were saying, you take on that energy of that other person. I think that was you that said that. So yeah, that's where this stuff comes from. So now you've taken it into your own field, and now you're resonating with this stuff. So people could be actually thinking or feeling that you're a victimizer, because now you've got these, their energies in your body, whereas you were actually being the victim. You weren't, however, it kind of flips back and forth, and now you could become the victimizer, yourself too. So this is why this has to be cleared. So it doesn't have to go forward anymore. So the karma is the feeling of being suppressed and unable to fully be yourself. You feel strangely pushed into difficult and challenging circumstances. So that's one explanation of it. So from your essential nature, transferred from your life force through to the blood, interestingly, affecting your cardio system.
What does that mean, to the That's, I mean, again, I'm on all into the blood today apparently, but
Yeah.
what is that? What are we talking about there?
It's karma.
Through to the blood.
Yeah. So this stuff that we've been walking around with for, it can affect your life force, so your energy. And through to the blood. So I guess so what's going through coursing through your veins? That's interesting.
It's the realms again. Like, I do find that it goes sort of from essence, and then it can, is it just hovering around our essence, or when it starts to feel embodied, it actually gets into the body and the blood. And then, if you can catch it when it's still in the essence realm or the mental, but it's when it gets into that real embodiment in the physical. It's usually, from what I experience, has been around a lot longer. Like, for example, my daughter had a sexual assault. She's quite young. She's got lots of support and clearings, but it's in her essence, but it's not in her, so we can clear the essence, that realm, before it gets in there.
Yes, great. Yeah, because the blood, the physical, is the last part that's going to be affected. Yeah, very good. By the time it got there, yeah. Yep, so it can affect your cardio system, involving unresolved jealousy, envy, shame, and betrayal.
Marlene, we could almost put that in the karma, like, again, doing an assessment, like, where is it? Like, what realm is the karma in? Is it the, the soul? Is it the mental, emotional? Where is the karma kind of sitting or acting out?
Yeah, okay.
And couldn't we do that also, that what you're saying, Margo, the emotional, mental, physical? Sorry.
Yeah. Although it's not necessary to do the clearing, you don't have to really know. I mean, you can ask, but you can clear it all in one clump here. So karma is often thought of as a punishment in common thought, like a boomerang. If you do something bad, you get payback in a life or a future life. So this is largely true, or can be true. So this is a belief, again, that we need to come back and do karma. Karma, lessons, and reincarnation. It's that loop, that infinity loop that we all kind of bought into. It's like Matrix, we bought into this. I'm actually been told that once somebody dies, we have an option to not buy into that infinity loop again. So, like, don't go to the light. Turn around and look and see. Maybe there's an option door 2, right? So it doesn't have to be the easiest thing. Like, there could be a trap there, is what I've heard. There could be a trap that sets you right straight back into this reincarnation loop, and now you're doing this stuff again, doing it again, over, redo, over, reincarnation. So the recycle. So if you're not into that, again, so being aware that there could possibly be another option once you get to the other side, check it out, I guess. That's my advice. I haven't been there, I can't tell you for sure, but look and see if there's door 2. And that might be the one, like, oh, yay, I really wanted to be here, I did not want to go there.
I think it depends on your level of ascendance as to whether or not you have to reincarnate. When you get to a certain level, you can choose.
Yeah.
And there are certain ways that you may die that say like if you commit suicide and it's not allowed, then from what I've heard is you have to come right back in and do almost the same thing again and see if you can get through it.
Exactly. So I've heard that before too, Lainey. Yeah. Yeah. So the suicide could be a redo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you were supposed to release whatever or resolve that issue or complete it, not resolve or, but complete that in this lifetime and you failed to do that, so now you're gonna have to do it again. It's gonna come back. But that's what this timeline stuff is, keeps coming back, keeps coming back, keeps coming back. But so does karma, it just keeps coming back. So to be done with it, this is another way then to be done with it, so that we don't have to get there and do the redo again, is to clear as much karma as we can possibly do right now and just get it out of our cells, get it out of our body, out of our field, so we don't have to come back if we don't want to. So you get payback. Okay, so it's largely true maybe, but not punishment. More think of it as you have put a force of energy in motion that will continue till resolution, completion, or clearing. I'm going to say completion, or what we're doing to clear it. So relationships, how the person relates to everything that has a signature of mind or will, people, country, organization, religion. So either an individual or group. So, what's your relationship from the person and how they relate to another person, or how they relate to a organization, or a religion, a group or a country, right? So that's what we're looking at here. So to do the clearing, clear karma. So you can do a clearing at first, and that's this hand movement. You can clear these items here, a lot of different emotions here, and then these dark energies. That's just the clearing part, but there's also a procedure I'm going to get into here in a second. And now clear karma and entangled energies. Yes, so you can clear past or current lovers or relationships. So you do want to make a list of all the people that you had as a boyfriend, for example, or marriages. So, and then ask, you may not have karma with these individuals, but I would ask, is there karma with, whatever name? Is there shared energy with whatever name? Is there cords with whatever name? Because there could be one, but not all three, or none. If none, then cross them off the list, but definitely make this list. And then previous and current bosses, managers, or clients. So people from work. There were some real doozies. I had some real doozies supervisors that really made my life miserable, and I cleared karma with them. Do I have any more? No. Oh, I made sure they were out of my life. And what about, I had a school teacher. I'm going to put that on here too. Teachers, mentors. They've got that guru karma, guru energy, right? So that you gave your power over to. I had a first grade teacher. She was horrible, horrible. She had no business teaching 6, 7-year-olds, let alone, oh my gosh, terrible. But yeah, I cleared good. No energy. I just want to check again. Corporations that you currently or previously worked for. So it could be the boss, but it could also be the company itself. And then family. So siblings, mother, father, step parents, or it could be cousins. Maybe you had a real problem with a cousin or something like that. And then the country or place, organization. I've got organizations up here, country or place, whatever that happens to be. So a place could be like a place in your mind. It doesn't have to be a town or something, but it could be, maybe something happened to you in the woods, something like that. So you've always kind of whatever. So maybe it's the woods or the forest. So here's what you would want to use this for: a single, separated, divorce. If you're single, you may be disheartened having dated men or women that are just not right for you. You may be thinking that there's no one out there that is a good match for you, when in fact the reason you are unable to attract the right partner for you may be because you are holding on to energies in your field from a past relationship, even if the relationship was decades ago. So once you clear your karma from your past relationships, you may be able to attract the right partner, as then you will be vibrating at your own authentic energy resonance. You will be more yourself, making it easier for your ideal partner to find you. And for couples or spouses, you may be in a relationship already and want to experience an even deeper and more authentic connection with your partner. So couples often tend to court each other and have shared energies in each other's bodies. This is all rather unintentional, as you would not consciously be aware that you are doing this. This tends to cause control issues, and your partner may from time to time annoy or irritate you. Then you wonder why when you love them so much. Clearing karma will release the tension in your relationship so that both of you can operate from an authentic and empowered place. So yeah, looking at it, yeah, maybe just what you need. Okay. Okay, so employees and employers, if you have issues with your manager, employer, difficult person at work, this may be just what you need to resolve the tension. Often work colleagues you interact with or those who sit next to you in your workplace may have inadvertently courted you, or you may have their energy in your body and vice versa. Now, women can get courted just from walking down a street if men ogle them, right? So it's generally a positive, whatever, but still you don't want their energy either, right? So this might be something you can do for yourself at the end of a day. Just say, do I have any cords in me? Did anyone send in emotional cords? Do I have shared energy with somebody? Check to see. Or curses, that's another one I asked for. Did I, you know, especially if you've been on a webinar or something, a lot of people have seen you. Do I have any curses? So keeping clear of others' energies is the key to a happy and harmonious workplace. And those with family issues, whether you have difficulties in your relationship, in your family, karma clearing is one way to ease the tension and come to a place where you can let go of any resentments. And those that have issues with companies or places they worked, could be in the past or current, doesn't matter. Karma clearing with the relevant place may ease your tension and make you feel more at peace with that situation. Or if you have issues with a country, you know, like people from the concentration camps and that kind of stuff, they're going to want to definitely clear that country and that place or that town where they've had that experience, so they can move forward, clean and clear of the negative energies. So here's a clearing, the right permission and ability to be born to your birth mother, father, be part of your energetic clan, to love, or see, to be loved and cherished, and have and enjoy full access to self-love and confidence, removing and to be free of domination, suppression, and control. So yeah, now here you've got the timelines, which is good. Let's check here. A lot of emotions going on here. A lot of dark energies can be here too. So it's kind of similar to other clearings we did with the abuse and so forth, but yeah, to be born, but to be part of the clan, so that you belong here. So clearing anything there, and then removing cords, contracts, agreements, shared energy, and karma from mother, father, and clan. So from all areas are what we're looking at.
Would this be good to do for the baby prior to birth?
Yes. Yeah, it could, certainly, absolutely. Or, you know, this could be good for anybody, so that, you know, if you do plan to come back, that you're not going to come back into a family that you have to have all kinds of problems with. Absolutely. So you know, so next time, if you want to come back, you can be born to, you know, to be into a loving and cherished family, right? That there's a lot of ability to have love and confidence and so forth. So we don't have to come back and do this again, having horrible experiences. So removing cords. Okay, so that's what we want to do. From So what agreements are causing problems in the site? You could ask, you know, are there agreements around that? So men's clearing, so to be respected and honored by mother, or women to be cherished and protected by father. Clear around that. And then next we get into siblings, close childhood friends. So that could be first love, broken heart, loss of innocence in a relationship, loss of hope or possibility. So clearing the history that had you believe that you deserved it, and you open up to your greatest possibilities in life. So that had you believe you deserve less. Yeah, so that would be this clearing then around the ability to have close friends, to be, I think, welcomed with joy. I think that's supposed to be welcomed with joy, loved, honored, and cherished by them, to understand and heal from love loss, innocence, able to see the bigger picture in lost love, removing and free, well, I'm just going to say free of bigger picture, domination, suppression, and control. Okay, so to have close friends. So some people don't have friends. Yeah, so if they weren't cherished, loved, and didn't feel that, so how can you be a close friend to somebody if you don't know how to be that? So a lot of similar things, if you've noticed. A lot of this stuff is all real similar. So here's the emotions, and a lot of dark energies here for that. Now, this is around cords, agreements, contracts, shared energies, and karma from childhood friends. You want to clear all that in first love. And so here I'm gonna talk about cords and contracts and agreements here in just a minute. And then going into divorce, bad end to a love affair or a romantic love, unentangled. So letting go of all baggage from love gone sour. So you may experience actually a permanent and completely clear space with an ex who doesn't focus on you anymore. So actually people do. They can come out of a relationship or come out of this karma clearing from a relationship with the other person not bugging them again. So I've had that, like somebody stalking me, you know, and that's when I'm hearing, oh geez, you know, we need to do karma right away. We need to do shared energy, cords, contracts, agreements, right, whatever. Gotta get straight to that. So for divorce or for love, you know, baggage, ability to be free of old baggage from a bad divorce, breakup. Free of, and you know, add more things in here if there's more that you want to do. But again, there's a lot of similarities, real similar stuff here.
Marlene, you're saying that by the time we get to any of these clearings, what if you check that the clearing is necessary, but most of what's in the clearing has already been cleared? I mean, is that possible?
Yeah, now, so bloodline and clan, they're actually two separate things, but so maybe you cleared a whole lot of stuff in bloodline and that was great. But you get to this one and there's just something about this, you know, you haven't dealt with old baggage from a bad divorce or something yet. So maybe bloodline, yeah, you can make, if you check, does bloodline apply? No. Well, how clear would my bloodline be to be clear of this baggage? Oh, well, bloodline is clear then about 85%. Okay, well, you told me now. Well, yeah, but it's clear. So you got to get the exact number. Okay, so you can start now at bloodline being cleared at 85%, but now we need to get the rest or something, right? So it could be almost clear, but something different here. So you got to kind of go back and clear it again, but it might not just take quite as long.
Okay.
And there's a ton of emotions here. All the kind of stuff that can happen with a ex or whatever, you know, or Yep, and a lot of dark energies. So here you're going to want to remove the cords, contracts, agreement, shared energy, and karma from a divorce and ex-partners. And then here's the clearing for corporations, countries, towns, locations, religions, spiritual organizations, political groups, free of domination, suppression, and control. Okay, timelines, emotional and mental here, I guess. Real similar items are here again. Really, it's a lot of stuff. Resentment has been coming up. Sorrow, shame has been coming up for a lot of this stuff. So again, that's for places and so forth. So here's a clearing for love rights. To have a right to love, to be loved, or to exist, or to feel feelings, being magnetic to love, welcomed with joy, feel worthy and nourished, cherished and protected, empowered, to belong, to be in a long-term love relationship, or to have family. So, and you can add anything else you know you can think of around here, in here, but again, here are real similar things to look for and clear. Yeah, okay, and a lot of. So then you're going to want to look at put these both here. It's called clearing harmful bloodline patterns and family curses that prevent you from fully loving yourself. So this is where you're going to want to look at bloodline in particular. So it's the family patterns, family curses, anything that, you know, that can, so ask, is there, you know, anything in my bloodline, family patterns and curses that were preventing me from fully loving myself? And I'm getting yes. So, so how clear am I on the bloodline already? So from everything that I've done, 94%. So there's a piece in here that I just haven't gotten yet, because I guess I just didn't ask it the right way. So that's definitely, then continue clearing that. And then
we don't have that on our list.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess I added that later. Yeah. So I'll send you this updated version. And then clearing the degrading and debilitating DNA and emotional thought forms that are blocking love. So here you can ask, is there DNA that's blocking love? So that's asked a little bit different from what we asked before. So you could get yes, how many programs are there? Yeah, 1 or 2. And then emotional thought forms. So that was on our emotional emotions chart. So DNA actually programs. So asking about those. Okay, so then contracts and agreements, they don't just end when the relationship is over. Like if you've said something like, oh, let's go on a trip, or we're gonna, you know, have kids, you know, or something like that, and then you don't, or the relationship ends or something like that, it ends up on the astral looking like contracts. Okay, it ends up on the astral looking like contracts. So there's unfulfilled contracts on your timeline between the two of you. All right, so to end contracts and agreements then, here's a protocol you can do. So you can like reach into your pocket and you're taking out a key. And with this key, you're able to unlock or unhook chains and shackles between you and this other person. So you can see it as unhooking the shackles and chains around yourself. So it could be your ankles, right? Your wrists, your waist, your neck. Maybe there's a chastity belt on, whatever it is. Take the key, unlock all the chains and shackles. And then you can do the same for the other person that you're clearing karma with them, unhook their chain shackles, you're releasing yourself and you're releasing them from all contracts and agreements. You can let go of all negative past energy. So those chains and shackles, once they're unhooked, they generally, they just get sucked down into the center of the earth. So if they haven't, then you can see like a big vacuum just sucking it down into the center of the earth so that these contracts and agreements are gone. Another thing you can do is seeing the contract ripped up, sending it to the center of the earth again. Contract is ripped up, or knowing the agreements were made from a, like say, third dimension reality we are no longer in, so therefore agreements are null and void in 5D, for example.
And these are all negative agreements. They're not like impacting.
Exactly. So now if you have a contract, a marriage contract, and you're still happily married, no, we're not ending any of that, right? So it's just the stuff. Do I have, yeah, negative contracts? Exactly. That's what you're going to ask. Now, is there still a agreement between you, like say if there's child support or something like that, visitation, then yes, that agreement, you can see that, but you can see it as, you know, bringing good energy to that agreement. And two, so keeping in place.
Clearing out all the unproductive, negative vibes, yeah.
Yeah, keeping in place the positive, current contracts, and agreements. Yeah. So yeah, seeing them, clean and clear. Oh, higher vibe kind of version. Yep. Okay, so that's contracts. Now to end in karma, so this is a protocol you can do. So you can see a half of a golden ring. Okay, so like a, I guess a wedding ring or something like that. But you can just see this ring. It's empty in the middle, and it's gold. It's got a gold border. So you're gonna take the top half of the ring and put it over a white rose. See a gold ring. Okay, you're gonna take it and put it over a white rose, and then ground that rose to the center of the earth. And then you're gonna fill up the gold ring with karma. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Okay, so filling up the top half of the ring with becomes a whole circle. Okay, so while intending that this is the karma completing from all the lives that we've lived and all the future, bringing it all into completion. So really, I feel that it's all the karma I have with this individual, and it fills up like the top part of this ring, and all the karma that this individual has with me filling up the bottom part of this ring. And that's how I see it happening. So that the whole ring then becomes complete and filled in. So now all the top half is my karma with them, all the bottom half is their karma with me, and then you just keep doing just the sending gold energy in it. Sending gold energy, gold energy, gold energy, until that whole ring, you can either see it filled in, or you just get, you know, at 80%, 90, 100, right? So then finally, when it's finally cleared, filled in, then it says here it really is okay to end karma. So some people like, oh God, but I still love that person or whatever, or I love my mom, you know. Well, that's not what we're doing here. We're not clearing the person away necessarily. We're clearing all the bad, icky energy from that person away. You can take the action and move or do something and be away from that person. That's totally up to you, however you want to do it, or not, or, you know, but we're just getting rid of the icky energy. So now that the ring is cleared, filled in, now you're going to drop that ring, you know, it's sitting right now on that white rose. So you're seeing it there sitting on that white rose, and then you can put 3 sticks of dynamite underneath it and blow the whole thing up. I like to repeat by tossing 2, I like to put red roses on top. of this pile, if there's anything left, and toss one stick of dynamite onto the pile and blow it up so nothing is left. Okay, and then you can ask, is there anything left? No. Is that pretty clear? 98, 99, that's 100% right there. Okay, 100% clear. And then you can see this person walking off into the distance, into the sunset in complete freedom, and wishing them well, have a great time, and may you be blessed to partner with people who are really in your vibration, that really suit you, or you really feel heard, respected, and honored, or whatever you want to say there. And then you can send them on their way, and you are whole, complete, and perfect, and you're free of, we didn't say cords yet, free of the contracts, and you're free of old karma. So we didn't do the cords yet, did we? Okay, so, and something happened where I wasn't able to save my document because I had cords on here, and now they're not. So I see that a couple things didn't get saved. So cords. So maybe I should probably put cords up top. I'm going to put cords here because I feel that these should be first.
I find cords usually come up around shared energy.
Yeah, so where was my, I have this list up here. Oh, here. Yeah, so clearing control energy, and that's just like it's on your amplification chart, so you're just clearing control energy to 100%. Like that. Letting go of cords, that should be next. Yep, and then contracts, agreements, and then shared energy. Cords, letting go of cords. Shared energy is a little different too. So cords here. Here. Now this is going to be if you feel a cord or feel someone has a cord in you. All right, so you can just muscle test it. Is there, test? Yes. How many? And if you get that there is, and that there is one, where? Okay, where on the body? So if it feels like solar plexus, or sometimes women will cord into a man's testicles. And that's what this person did to my husband last week with the graduation thing. Yeah, she did. It was, and he felt it. He's like very sensitive, and he felt it, and it actually did damage. So anyway, so where on the body? So testicles? Ah! Okay, and so how many, right? So what you would do then is you would grab a hold as if it was an electrical cord. And so you would grab a hold of it like it was an electrical cord, and then you would pull it out of the wall. Pull it out as if you were pulling a cord out of the wall, socket, or whatever you call it. And then you want to extend your arm, past your aura before dropping it. And then drop to the ground. Toss 2 red roses. Top of it. Stick of dynamite. Blow it up. Repeat. Well, I'm not going to put that. We don't do the other person. The other person's side of the cord. What they do is up to them with that. That's not, they didn't ask us to do anything, right? So, but this will complete it with the person, with yourself, or, you know, your client. We don't do the other person's side of the cord. So then check, and then, okay, so then we want to clean the aura, hole in aura, color, 100%. Yeah, because there may be a hole in the aura where this cord was, right? So a break or something that we need to fix now. So we don't do the person's side of the cord. However, if they continue to send cords, repeat above process, and you can send a little black energy into the, I guess it would be like the tip, if you would call it the tip of the cord, or the end of the cord, the end of the cord. So you've pulled it out of you, and you've dropped it, okay, on the ground, and you and so forth. But if you have to do it again and you repeat the process, you've got the cord, and then you can drop it on the ground, and then before the dynamite, repeat the above process, and then drop to the ground. And then you can send a little bit of black energy into the end of the cord, but not into the person, because it's like death energy, right? So we're not intending to kill somebody, but we are intending to say, no, this is where the buck stops here. It's not going any further. It's not continuing. This is not a healthy practice. This stops. This is complete right here. So, so you don't want the energy. So it's death energy. I'm going to put that here. So be careful about what you're doing and what your intention really is here. So I'm just sending a little black energy just into the end of the cord, just to complete this cording. And then clearing the aura. Right, so that's the process there. And then to end contracts and agreements, we said that, and then the karma. But let's do shared energy, I think was the other one. Yeah. It didn't get saved last night either. Send them on their way. Okay, now completing shared energy. And what we had mentioned before, this can just be, it can be energy with anybody. It can be energy with your current spouse, whom you have no intentions of, you know, splitting up with or whatever. It could be that too, but they have your energy in them, and you have their energy in you. And this is just, yeah. So they're, it's kind of like, your energies are, it just feels that mucked up kind of stuff. So what you want to do is you want to stand 6 to 8 feet away from the other person. You see yourself standing. You each hold a long stem a rose of a different color. And it doesn't really matter what color, you know, you're holding, just so that they're different. Example, one yellow, one, I don't know, pink or something like that. You intentionally send all of the other person's energy back to them by way of their rose. So you're sending their energy into their rose. They do the same, sending your energy back to you by way of your rose. So you can see this energy going back and forth, but one, you know, from you to their rose and from them to your rose. So you can kind of see energy from the people going into the roses, not into the person themselves. And these are long stem, these are magnetic roses. So they are attracting this Ishi energy. They're just sucking it up, right? So continue to 100%. And then at that point, tip the rose, the top of the rose, onto the top of your head, and let the energy drain completely out of the rose into you, into your crown. Okay, receive your energy back. And you can see the other person getting their energy back the same way with their rose up on top of their crown. All right, so then once all energy is in you again, toss the rose, toss your rose on the ground. You can see the other person doing the same with their rose. Then toss two new, these are red magnetic roses, on top of these two, and toss a stick of dynamite on top of the pile. Blow it up. Repeat with two new red roses and one stick of dynamite, and blow up anything that may have been left to 100%. Okay, so that should do it. And most people will feel their energy shift definitely from there. And then, so now at this point you can see, or after any of these, it would be good, you can see a golden sun going into the top of the head and down into the body, filling every single cell, and then bringing another golden sun to the top of the head and make this golden sun huge, and then bring it down into your body. And then a third golden sun, and bring it down into your body, filling all the spaces and places that have been cleared. And these golden suns are vibrating, they're energizing you, they're raising your energy vibration to celebration and gratitude, and so you can feel the changes in yourself. Then you can also bring a golden sun of validation to the top of your head. And you can say, I am capable, competent, loving, lovable. I am cherished, and I easily cherish those I love. I am seen, heard, and witnessed. I'm strong, healthy, vibrant. My body and choices I make for myself, my life, my spirit are the most amazing choices. My life and my spirit are the most amazing choices. I'm so happy. I'm delighted with who I am. And of course, you can say whatever you want here. This is just an example. My life and my spirit. Yeah, okay, that didn't read right, I'm sure. Bring this validation and all the other validation that you want to put into that golden sun. Okay, so so really this is like you're saying it into the sun. You're putting it into this into a golden sun, and then you bring that sun of validation into your body. And let the feeling of validation then fill every cell of your body. And then you feel your body becoming energized, feeling the validation, feel it good. It feels to just fill yourself up with positive. Feel how good it feels. Oh, goodness. How good it feels to just, to just fill yourself up with positive energy, love, self-love, and self-appreciation. And another golden sun while you're sitting on your magic carpet above your head. Bring it down in your body, filling out your arms and legs, hands, feet, torso, neck, and head. Wiggling your fingers and toes, breathing in and out. And here you can say, I love myself, I trust myself, I am creative. Feeling yourself deeply back in your body, feeling that self-love, self-appreciation, joy, and celebration energy. Recharge, revitalize, fully present in your body. And spirit into present time. So that's how you can complete the session with a client. So now there's more to love and relationships than this, but this is all the back stuff that most people don't go into. You know, they might go straight into emotions and that kind of thing, right? So. Which we did. We went into emotions, obviously, too. But then there's other clearings that you can do around love. There's other clearings that you can do around relationships relating on the same resonance. For example, you resonate to somebody maybe to say a soulmate level, but the other person is still down here in just contractual level. They're just, you know, you get married to have a family, right? That's all they've ever gotten to. Maybe their frequency just isn't, they're not on the same resonance as you. So there's things you can do to actually get that other person to, you know, soulmate level too, or whatever, or not even the other person, just yourself. So if you're single or whatever, and you're out there dating and you keep attracting, you know, these real low vibe creatures or whatever, maybe that's what you need to do, is up level your own, you know, relational resonance to be that of whatever level you want to attract. So those are things you can do too. So, but this is huge. This is a huge part. I guess we're over. Oh shoot! I have a session at 10:30. That's what this text is. Oh no. Oh goodness. Yes. 2 minutes. Oh God. Oh, sorry. Got carried away. Okay, so I guess our time is up. Any quick questions?
It looks great, Marlene. Thanks so much. It looks like a lot. I'm wondering if I can actually do a clearing with you about this.
Yeah, we should get another session together and we can talk about this too.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. Okay, I'll send this clear revised version over to you. Page numbers would be good too. And yeah, so then we need to decide what day would be good for next time. So I guess this is like technically our June meeting, so it would be like our July meeting, but it can be whatever works for everybody else. So do we have a date in mind that can work for everybody? Let's see, June.
Saturdays or Sundays are usually good for me.
Yeah, me too, I know. So we could do like June 28th, it's another Sunday. Oh, that's when we were supposed to be in Vegas doing a class reunion. Do you think it's gonna happen? I don't know. I don't know. I guess I can't put anything on there just in case it happens. I don't know. We haven't had any word from them saying that it was canceled.
Is it possible if we're talking, are we talking June?
End of June, beginning of July.
Yeah, can we do it on a Friday?
Like Friday, July 3rd or Friday, the 26th of June?
So I actually work on Fridays.
Okay, yeah, and that's when I was supposed to be in Vegas at that class reunion that whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it'd have to be like, I don't know if you guys are going anywhere 4th of July. I'm not. I usually let the amateurs have the weekend. Or do you want to just put together some dates and times that you can and just send them in an email so that we can all pick what's
Margot has written in the text July 5th that is her suggestion. I'm okay with that day myself. But
I am too.
Yeah, I'm good with July 5th.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So let's
and
do
also
that.
Dia had said before she had to leave that she would just work around whatever date you scheduled. So
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that then. We'll do July 5th. If it doesn't work, let us know, but seems to be a consensus so far. Get it on the books for the same time as today. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So it is reserved. All right, very nice to meet with everybody. I've just been a talky, chatty person here, so I like to hear you guys talk too. So, so very nice. If you have any other comments, just go ahead and email them to everybody in the group, and we'll pick up from here next time, okay?
Well, thank you.
All right, absolutely, my pleasure. Talk soon. Enjoy your weekend, or what's left of it. Enjoy your Sunday. Bye. All right. Bye. Take care.